Hey guys, it's Catherine and I'm so excited because last night Procreate came out with version 4.3 and it is amazing. They've added a few new features and the biggest thing that they've added is that you now have the ability to use fonts directly in Procreate. So there's no more workarounds. You don't have to use apps like Open or Graphic in order to copy and paste from one app into Procreate. You can just do it in Procreate. It is amazing. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then I'm also going to show you some of the other new features. Here's my notes. And as usual, they're very colorful. They're not like standard notes. And this is everything that we're going to talk about today. I'm very sleep deprived. Just full disclosure, I'm very sleep deprived. I've had a long day, so I might kind of forget things, so I will be referencing these notes quite a bit throughout this video. Okay, so right off the bat, we're just going to go straight into talking about the brand new text feature. So I'm just going to hide my notes layer really quick. So the first thing that I'm going to show you how to do is add text into your canvas. So right when you update or right when you download Procreate, it's going to have all of the fonts that you have on your iPad. So if you've already downloaded paid or free fonts onto your iPad, it's already going to be in Procreate for you. So to add text, all you're going to do is come up here to your wrench tool and click on Add Text. And you're either going to get a screen that looks like this, where you can browse through all of your font settings, or you may get your keyboard. So the first thing I want to show you how to do is switch back and forth. So if you get this screen, but you want to type your phrase first before you play around with all the settings, then you can just click on this keyboard. And let's just type the word Procreate for an example. Okay, so now I've typed my text, and now I want to go back to editing it. So now I can just click on Edit Style, and then it pulls this menu back up. So that is how you can toggle back and forth if you need to. So here are all of your fonts, and like I was saying, these are all of the fonts that are already on your iPad. So it'll be, fonts that are included normally on the iPad, plus any font that you've downloaded. These are your style settings. So if you're using more of a basic font, like let's switch to Arial, you'll see right here you've got regular, italic, bold, and bold italic. So, you may not have tons of options there depending on what font you choose. So I'm going to switch to my Novice font, and this is a font that I have in my Etsy shop, and I'll link to it in the video description. And it's right here. And now let's move on to settings. So if you want to adjust the size of your text, you can just come down here under Design and slide this bar up or down to adjust the size. So you'll see when I make it, pretty big, it starts cutting off part of the word. But you do have the ability to take these blue dots right here and drag it to the edge of your canvas. And then you can continue playing around with your font size. So you will have to double click the word and highlight it, and then you can drag the size and you can make it super, super big or super small. We're going to make it about that big for right now. So this is kerning. This is the space between two individual letters. So for example, if you just wanted to change the space between your R and your O, you could drag kerning this way for more space, and you can drag kerning this way for less space, and it will kind of snap into the middle if you want the standard settings for kerning. This works best, if you're playing around with like print fonts and you're not happy with the spacing between certain letters. It's not great for script fonts just because most developers already mess around with the kerning during the development process, so it's pretty much done for you. But that's not always the case. It's mostly the case. So that is what that means. Tracking is the space between all letters. So if you don't have your text selected, it's not going to work. You just need to double tap your text and make sure it's highlighted, and then you can adjust your tracking, and it's going to move all letters. You'll see with this particular font, it has ligatures. So certain letter combinations, when typed together, will switch over to a ligature. It just gives it a more handwritten feel. So you'll see that that's spacing out all of the letters, but it's counting CR as a ligature. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're working with a font that has a bunch of extra ligatures and stuff. I prefer fonts that have ligatures. It will recognize those ligatures as one letter rather than two separate letters when you're doing this spacing. So let's move that back to default. So the next setting is your leading. It looks like it says leading, but it's leading. And what that is it's your space between different lines of text. So this one word, that's just one line of text. So let's switch back to the keyboard, and underneath it, we're gonna type another word. We're gonna type the word rules. And then we're gonna go back to edit style, and we're gonna double tap to select. We're gonna hit select all, and now we're gonna adjust the leading. So if you move it towards the left, you're gonna have less space in between the lines of text, and if you move it towards the right, you're gonna have more space. I like how this looks with less space. I like to make my text fit together like puzzle pieces, so this looks pretty good to me right here. So that is leading. The next thing that you can mess around with is the baseline. So this is just gonna adjust the position of your text within your text box. If you move it towards the left, it's gonna move the position down. If you move it towards the right, it's gonna move the position up. So that is what the baseline is. Your opacity, that is just gonna make the text more or less transparent. So you drag it down and it's more transparent. You can make it invisible. There's no reason why you should do that, but you can. Or you can drag it all the way up and it's opaque. So that's your last setting under design. And then you can come over here to attributes. So I'm sure most of you know what these little icons are. This is for alignment. So this is your left alignment. This is your center alignment. This is your right alignment. And then that is where it just spaces all the way across from left to right. So let's go back to center alignment. And this right here is just your underline. So you can underline your text. So this right here is an outline feature, and I love this feature. When you tap that, when your text is selected, it gives you an outline of your text, and I just think that looks pretty cool. So this is a script font, so you're seeing where the letters are meeting, and so that doesn't look perfect, but you can go in and erase part of this. Like you could zoom in and erase where the lines are intersecting and then make it look like an outline. If we were to change this, to a print font, let's select all and let's go to my Capitol Hill font, then you'll see that's just a complete outline, and I just love that that's available. That was an unexpected feature, and I'm just so excited about it. I'm gonna use it all the time. So that's really cool. Let me go back to Novice really quick. So now we're back on Novice, and I'm gonna turn off the outline. So this right here is where you can opt to have something in all caps. So let's say that you wrote something just like this where just the first letter is capitalized and the rest is in lowercase, and then you decide you want it in all caps. You don't have to go back and retype it. All you have to do is select your text and then turn this on, and it's gonna give you all uppercase letters. If you turn it back off, it converts to lowercase letters completely. So if you decide you wanted to go back and have just the uppercase first letter and then the rest lowercase, you can 2-finger tap twice on the screen, and then you're good. You're back to where you were. So that is all of the features for your font settings. So now I'm going to show you how to import a font. I'm actually going to show you 2 different ways. One of the ways can only be done on the iPad Pro because it involves the split screen feature. But if you don't have an iPad Pro, you can still import a font. So first, I'm going to download fonts that I've already purchased from Creative Market. And let's say I want this Dreamer font right here. So I prefer to open my fonts in iZip Pro because a lot of these fonts, especially if you get them from Creative Market, come with True Type, which is TTF, and Open Type, which is OTF. And I don't like to use both of those. I don't know. I don't know if that takes up more memory on my iPad or not, but just to be safe, I go ahead and unzip the files so I only install one of the fonts onto my iPad rather than duplicates of the same font. So I prefer to always use the open typeface, the OTF, because that is the more modern typeface. The reason they still include TTF is because there are some programs that don't support OTF yet, but eventually all programs are going to support it. I know they are because it's becoming the standard. So I am going to click on OTF, and I can click on Open In, and I can click on Copy to Procreate. So now it's going to open Procreate, and it just imported that font for me. So when I scroll through my fonts, here is the Dreamer font. So there's that. That's the first way. The second way is to download a font and save it to, let's say, your iCloud. So once again, I'm going to open this in iZip Pro. That's what I use to unzip my files. There's several different apps to choose from when it comes to unzipping files on the iPad, and iZip is just the one that I prefer. So again, I'm going to just select the open typeface, the OTF, and I'm going to click on Share, and I'm going to click on Save to Files, and I'm going to save it to my iCloud Drive. So now I can go back into Procreate. I can click on Import Font. I can go to my iCloud Drive. There's the font right there. I'm going to click on it, and it imported. And there's the Washington font. So I'm going to do one more font. I am going to download this font called Cadam's Cute. This is one of my favorite fonts that I've recently purchased. I'm going to go back into iZip, and again, I'm just going to select the OTF, click on Share, click on Save to Files, click on iCloud Drive, and click on Add, and now it's in my iCloud Drive. So now what I can do is I can open Procreate, and I can drag up my toolbar and then select this icon and move it over to the side to do the split screen view. And then there's the font Cadam's Cute. So now all I have to do is click on that, and it imports. And here it is, and it's in Procreate. So it's super, super simple to install these fonts. You got 3 different options that I know of. There may be more, but you know, that's 3 options right there. So that is all for the fonts, but it's super exciting, y'all, because there are so many people that say that, you know, they're not super happy with their handwriting, and so now you can just easily use fonts on your planner pages in Procreate, and it's a game changer. Like, I'm so excited about it, which I prefer to use my lettering because it just gives me more and more practice. But I love that I can now just easily use fonts for my like daily headers or just anything I want. I just love that it's an option now. So that is all about the text. Now we're going to move on to the second subject that I wanted to talk about, which is saving. So this is a really cool feature. I don't know if it'll benefit everybody that watches this video, but I'm excited about it. This is something that I've wanted for a very long time, because when I'm working on lettering files, like for example, for my Patreon people, when I'm doing those hand-lettered stickers, and let's say you get 5 hand-lettered stickers or 20 hand-lettered stickers, I'm doing them all in the same canvas. I just do them on their own individual layers, and then when I'm ready to save them, I save them one by one. I just turn one layer off, turn the other one on, and then save them one by one, and that can be kind of a pain, but that's what I prefer to do, so I don't have like 5,000 Procreate canvases. So now you have the ability to save all of your layers as either individual PNG images or a multi-page PDF document. Procreate, just keep this in mind because I'm doing this for digital planning people. They don't support the ability to import PDFs, but you can save your documents as a PDF. So now you can save it as a multi-page PDF if you want to just have one layer per page. So this is just super, super exciting. So I'm going to show you how to do this now. So I've already got my notes layer. I've got this text layer right here. Let me hide these and just kind of doodle something on this layer for a second. I'm just going to do a bunch of hearts. So all you have to do to save these images is to make sure all of your layers are turned on. So it's going to look very stacked and very crowded, but then you just go to your rinse tool, go to PNG files, and then click on save 3 images to save them to your camera roll. You can export them to Dropbox, you can airdrop them to yourself, whatever you want to do, and that will save them individually to your camera roll. So now when I go to my camera roll, you'll see right here I've got 3 separate images. Okay, so now I'm going to hide these layers and I'm going to turn my notes back on. So the other super, super cool feature is you can now make GIFs in Procreate. All you have to do is make sure all the layers that you want to use and feature are turned on, and then go to your rinse tool and click on animated GIF. And you'll see it's just flashing these images right now. So this is frames per second, so you could speed this up and slow this down. So if you go to 60 frames, it's gonna just go crazy. It's gonna move super fast, and the less frames you have per second, the slower your GIF is gonna move. So that's 0.4, but let's go like to 5 and see. That's just fun to play around with. You can turn your background on and off so you can actually save these with a transparent background if you want to. And then you can save as web ready or full resolution. And so, oh my gosh, I clicked off of it, y'all. So I'm just going to save this one as full resolution. And don't forget to click on save image. I just forgot to do that. So these work in your camera roll as well. So now when I go to this my camera roll, you'll see I've got a GIF in my camera roll. Okay, so the other thing that I want to show you is the ability to view a single layer. So this is a pretty cool feature. I don't think that I'll use it very much, but it's still good to know about. If you have multiple layers, so right here I do, they're all kind of jumbled, but you know, if you've watched my Planner Me videos, you know I create multiple layers for so many different things. So if you're working with multiple layers on one canvas, but then you only want to see what one looks like by itself, now what you can do is you can click on the check mark on that layer, just press and hold, and then it'll isolate that layer, so you just go back to viewing that one layer and it hides the rest of the stuff for you. And then if you press and hold again, like I just did, it brings the rest of the layers back. So that, I think, is a pretty cool feature. I just don't know how much I'll use it. So the last new feature that they've added is new blend modes. Blend modes are fun to play around with if you're doing something kind of artsy in Procreate, which I love to do. I can't even remember the names of all the ones that they've added. I have it pulled up right here. Let's see, they've added darker color, lighter color, vivid light, linear light, pen light, hard mix, and divide. So that is just something you can play around with. It's something that involves multiple layers. I can do a whole other tutorial on it, but I'll just show you a quick example. So I'm just gonna do like a circle right here, and then create a new layer on top of that, and let's do it in a darker pink, like right here. Okay, so just something basic like that. I'm not doing anything super artsy right now, but if you want to access the blend modes, all you do is click on the end for the layer that you want to use the blend modes for, and then you can just kind of play around with these, and you see how it affects the color depending on the layer that's underneath it. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with this if you're making art. I use this a lot when I'm trying to do watercolor effects. This blend mode setting really comes in handy for that. So that is just another thing they've added. They've just given us more options for that. That is it for the video. I'm so excited about this. I know you guys are excited about this. This has been probably their most highly requested feature, is that they add the ability to use fonts. So I'm so happy. Procreate is great about listening to anybody that supports them. I just feel like it's such a great app, and I like how when they release new features, like not only are the new features, you know, what people want, but they make the features amazing. They take it to a whole nother level where they're even better than you could possibly expect. So anyway, I hope you guys are having so much fun playing around with these new features, especially the text feature. I know I've had a lot of fun with it. I can't wait to play around with it more. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more digital planning tutorials and digital plan with me videos. Check out my website, naptimealt.com, where there's tons of free planner related files that you can download now. And also, if you want to check out my Patreon page, I will link to it down below. I've recently started what I'm calling a digital planner club, and it's really, really cool. I'm super excited about it, and I would just really appreciate it if you would check it out. Feel free to contact me at any time if you have any questions. Facebook is by far the best way to get in touch with me, so I'll link to my Facebook down below. And that is it. I will see you guys in the next video.